Monday. Wait, sorry. It's Tuesday night. So I guess tonight would be the Tuesday night film room instead of the Monday night since Mother Nature won this weekend. Again tonight we've got Bob Warlick, Preston Kelly, and our I think it's going to be our regular coach, possibly somewhat regular coach, Bob Eason, coming in tonight again to give us a coach's perspective on the show. All right, we're going to recap the games from this past week. And like I said, Mother Nature won this weekend. There were some cancellations, some movements up or back. And do we have any that played Friday night? I don't think anybody played Friday night, did they?
Not locally.
So, no, that's what I'm saying. So it was either Thursday, Saturday, or last night. So anybody got anything to add before we get going? Or?
Yeah, before we get going, happy 60th birthday to Dave Miller.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Yeah, man.
Just means I'm old.
Means you're old, but you've done it well, buddy.
So, all right, real quick. So we had 2 games canceled this week. Northside at White Oak and American Leadership Academy at Lejeune. All right, so this is for any of you guys if you want to answer it. All right, so the 2 games in our area were canceled. All right, so in your years watching football, following football, with a season opener just kind of disappearing, how do you think that affects the team?
That's got to be an Easton question there because I think it goes both ways. You're not getting those first game kinks out, but you're fresh and healthy, and I want to hear from Bob on that.
Well, anybody knows me know I built my teams for weather, so canceling and not playing was not part of the issue. But people have their reasons. I think the biggest thing is not getting out those kinks. Not, you work all up to it. Some people have a clock on the wall waiting for that first game, and then you don't play it. I think it's just a big disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it, and as a coach, I'm looking at both sides. All right, yeah, it gives you a couple extra days of practice, but is practice the same as actually getting game reps?
Right.
So, are you better off getting that game in, or are you better off focusing on the other opponent?
I'd rather play every Monday and Friday than have a full 2 weeks off.
Right.
I didn't even like bye weeks.
No, bye weeks are terrible.
So,
I mean, unless you're beat up and banged up, it's terrible. All right, let's recap. Preston, I'm going to let you make this call.
All right.
You want to start with our marquee matchup?
Let's do it.
From last week?
Yeah.
All right. Southwest-Richlands played last night. Final score was 15-14. I listened to you and Chris on the Rainer. I thought you and Chris Rainer on the radio. I thought you guys did a really good job.
Thank you.
If you didn't know by listening to it, yes, they're very pro-Southwest. But it was enjoyable. Field conditions were mentioned early. So it was enjoyable to listen to. All right, so Preston, I'm going to let you kind of give the recap since you were there, called the game, and then we can kind of add in as we go through.
Yeah, so it was pretty much Southwest all the way through the first 3 quarters. We were winning. In fact, came out the second half and started with a opening session touchdown, and it looked like really good. It looked really promising right then. We went to that break, and I looked at Rainer. I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is what we've been missing these last few years. And just as it kind of went along, it just kind of died out, and Richlands just stayed in the game and kept fighting and fighting and fighting. And at that point, I mean, each team battled all the way through 100%, and they left it all out there on the field. But Richlands just showed so much more heart all the way up until the final play right there for them with about 2 minutes left, where they're able to throw a touchdown. The quarterback was the one that caught it, pitched it off to the running back, and it was a double pass. He kind of tossed it back and then ran and caught the touchdown. And even though they didn't get the 2 points, they could have, kept celebrating and everything after going up, for the first time in the game. But nope, it came right back on defense, and they forced a turnover. And as soon as they forced that turnover, it was pretty much it. And as tough as it was to watch that as a Southwest person, it was a great game overall and a good start for Richlands to start the season.
All right, so what do we get out? I mean, you saw it. You're going to be our expert because, I listen to the radio. Did either of you listen to the All right, so what are your thoughts going forward on Southwest-Richlands after last night's performance? Go ahead, Bob.
I think they got to figure out a way to run the ball. And as a former defensive coordinator, the one-back spread ain't it. Just throwing it out there, unless that one back is like
stud.
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
Right.
So, I mean, you got to figure out a way to run the ball. If you rely on your quarterback to win a bunch of games, you're going to have most people don't have that guy.
Right.
So, even though he may be good, he may not, but there's a lot of factors involved there. Your team shouldn't be built for your quarterback to have to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was a lot of positives that both teams could take away from that game, even Southwest for that much of a gut punch and loss. When you're answering your question in regards for Southwest and Richlands, the rivalry overall, it's like now the monkey's been placed on Southwest back.
Right.
It was placed on Richlands for, 34 years?
30, at least 32.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was placed on it for that long, and now Richlands has now all of a sudden started this streak and now put that monkey on Southwest back. But for Southwest, they need to realize, even though that was a really tough loss, there was a lot of positive that they should take from last night. That fight has been missing for the last couple of years, and it's a great thing that if they can keep a hold of that and take throughout the season, they'll be just fine.
Well, and the thing is, having a rivalry game, and we're going to talk about the rivalry game next when we talk about East Duplin and Wallace, but having that rivalry game as the first game of the year, it makes it tough. I remember back in the day when White Oak and Jacksonville used to be the first game of the year.
Yep.
And then when they got in the same conference, then it used to be Jacksonville and Southwest was that first game. And, it makes some really good opening games for the season, but neither team was at its best. Both of them were trying to figure things out. So, it's one of those that I look at the game and I was like, all right, momentum-wise, does it help you or does it hurt you playing a game like that right off the bat? What do you think, Bob?
You got to have a short memory, that's for sure. Even if you win it,
So Ted Lasso-esque.
Yeah.
Be a goldfish.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Especially when you come out on the short end of it. You got to get back to practice.
But honestly, that's any high school sport. You've got to have short memories,
And I think that's the best thing, just real quick. That's the best thing, even though it was kind of dreadful to push the game back to Monday.
Right.
They didn't have to sit with that through the weekend. They get to come right back out. They were right back out there today, and they had to face the facts of what happened last night and work towards Friday.
And I'm old, but I get this feeling that these kids today forget just a little quicker than.
No doubt. Look. Game over. All right, they're upset for about 3 to 5 minutes,
and
all they're worried about is, all right, hey, where are we going to eat, where are we going to hang out? I get it. So, all right, let's go to Wallace-Rose Hill at East Duplin. East Duplin 16, Wallace-Rose Hill 14. Again, they played Saturday night, moved from Friday night. East Duplin scored game-winning points on a safety with 46.7 seconds left in the game. Snap went over Wallace-Rose Hill's punter's head and out of the end zone. All right. So, any of you guys, how do you think that feels, losing a game like that with a bad snap? And Bob and I we called the Jacksonville game, tried to call it Friday night, of course, ended up doing it Saturday night. And we had talked about the impact of special teams. And again, so you look at this game, how important is special teams? Bob, I know you were a special teams guy. How important is special teams, especially early in the year?
Well, you always preach you don't want them to lose the game.
Right.
They don't necessarily have to win the game, but you don't want them to lose the game.
Right.
And that's tough on the kid that snapped it. And, it's one of them plays he's probably, done it 100 times, and maybe the pressure got to him. I don't know, but you don't want it to come down to that. But there's probably 125 plays running that game. That's one of them. Maybe they should have scored another touchdown.
Right. Well, that's we've always taught like soccer. You know, someone says, well, what if? There's a lot of what ifs in the game. You know, if this would have went different, that would have went different, yet outcome might have been a little different.
In both these cases, rivalry games, the home team won.
Right.
So Mr. Joe saying the home team for 7 points, he might be on to something.
Right. Well, and look, it's funny. And when we get to Swansboro and South Columbus, that's kind of what I bet, because they were close last year, and of course I went with South Columbus and didn't work out for me, but it's all good. So East Duplin's kind of held an advantage over Wallace-Rose Hill the past few years. Do you think that trend can continue, or?
Well, I tell you what was pretty clear is East Duplin's defense is good.
Yeah.
They held Wallace to about 50 yards in the first half. So it's not the long snapper's fault they lost that game.
Right.
He feels terrible, but East Duplin's obviously got a real good defense.
Yeah.
If you don't have to punt, you don't got to snap it.
Well, right. True story.
And that's from a defensive coordinator right there. That's good.
All right, let's go to Jacksonville at West Carteret. Jacksonville 49, West Carteret 0. As my notes say, Jacksonville scored early and often on the road. All right, extending streak in West Carteret to 7 straight. Now, here's the funny thing. And I think Bo's still over there somewhere, but West Carteret's kind of been a thorn in Jacksonville's side over the years if you look at the history. I know, 7, 8, 9 years ago, there was a game, Cards are up 21-0. Lightning comes in, they go to delay, they come back out. West Carteret comes back and wins 22-21. So, and I know that Bo struggled down there. So to go down there, expecting some of those hiccups, it never materialized. It was the Jacksonville show, except the first drive. I thought West Carteret did a good job mixing it up, changing things, end around, little misdirections. But once that first drive got stalled, it was over. I mean, it was all Jacksonville offense. Bob, why don't you throw in a little bit about Jacksonville offense and how good it could be once they really get everything figured out?
I'm one that's guilty who always say how it could be the greatest this, greatest that.
Right.
And I don't know. I mean, so I've kind of mellowed on that. But I tell you, Pearson's about as good a high school running back as you're going to see. He just really is.
Good.
He's not, I mean, it's weird if June had played 15 years ago, Pearson would get all kinds of press. He's a real good high school running back.
You say that, and he's not very tall.
Not at all.
He's what, 5'8", maybe 5'9"?
Right.
Maybe $170.
No, I think he's probably closer to 185.
Okay.
I mean, he's
all
a
right.
stocky
He
kid.
is. So when you watch him and you run, and he's fast.
Gosh.
But what you really don't realize is the power that he actually has.
Shifty.
He's shifty, but he can get through tackles. And people grab him. He can get through it, and he's special. And look, they've got the Jimenez kid that came over from White Oak.
He's good.
So, I mean, they've got a handful of kids in that backfield that can cause some trouble for teams.
Bob, I think you're going to see Pearson up at ECU, and I think you're going to I think the guy's going to play and do really well. I mean, he's a real good high school back that anybody would be proud to have him as their marquee back.
But Jacksonville ran 2 quarterbacks. You had Benton and what's the other kid's name? There's just one blank. Isaiah. What's Isaiah's last name? Hillary.
Yep.
Yeah. Both of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
very different and complementary,
yes,
right? Benton's more of a runner, Hillary more of a passer.
Yep. So, I mean, they've got some weapons offensively. I think the question comes down to is, can their new slew of linebackers carry a load? Because I think up front they're okay, and I think in the backfield they're okay.
I think you're right.
But I think it's just a matter of those linebackers getting it sorted out since they're all 4 being replaced.
I tell you what, it was eye-opening to see that first drive, and West Carteret just drove it about 6 or 7 minutes, and credit to Coach Williams and his guys. They got it figured out, but you're thinking, man, that's not really, I don't think, what they were thinking, not the plan. So it makes you wonder about Friday Northside can run the ball, but it's going to be a great game.
Right. And we talked about, Bob and I, talked about Friday and Saturday. Hillary throws a really nice ball. Ben's a really good athlete. Of course, both his brothers were quarterback, and Ben played some time at defense, and so I think you can see Ben do a little bit of both.
Yeah. And smooth, man.
Yeah.
Benton is so smooth.
Yeah, and so one of the questions I have: 4 different Jacksonville players found the end zone on Saturday night. How do they feed that monster the rest of the season? And does that cause matchup problems for their opponents down the road?
I think that is going to pare down. No offense to West Carteret because they're young,
right,
and they're really well coached, I think. But I don't think their numbers are down, and they're just not going to be a great football team this year. I think Jacksonville played a lot of guys because they know they have Northside coming up. I think those numbers will shrink to probably 3 running backs, and they'll shorten the rotation. So I think they've got 3 guys who could play at a lot of schools.
Right. And we really didn't see much of the passing game, which I think has potential to be okay as well.
Their timing wasn't perfect,
right?
And they've got it, but the guy can throw it. You've got good receivers who can catch it. They just didn't connect Saturday. So,
anybody else want to add?
No, I think y'all got it perfectly.
We'll get the preview later. All right, let's go to East Carteret, Croatan. Croatan 50, East Carteret 0. As we talked about last week, Boucher and McBride, 2 key forces for Croatan's offense. Boucher had 2 first-quarter touchdowns. I think he ended up with 3 for the night. I heard he could have had about 4 or 5. I think there were a couple that were called back.
Yes.
McBride had a 5-yard touchdown run, had 2 5-yard touchdown runs, and he's also the kicker, had a field goal. How dangerous, and we talked about this last week about where we thought Croatan was going to finish, right? So do we still think Croatan could be 2 or 3 in that conference?
Oh, God.
Absolutely,
2 or 3, I think, is the floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
So
that's exactly right.
Honestly, after seeing West Carteret, just listening and seeing what Croatan did, I think it's between Northside and Croatan in that conference.
Havelock's still in that conference.
I want to leave out
Havelock.
Havelock.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob.
Top 3, that's going to be really
so
interesting.
they're top 3. So we probably, as a group, Preston can't go because Preston has responsibilities on Friday night. And damn, Bob, you have responsibilities.
Yeah, I was fixing to say he does.
Easton, maybe you and I, when Croatan and Havelock play, maybe you and I can go to that game.
It's in his backyard.
And look, it is in your backyard. Maybe we meet at Riptides before the game. Have a little bite to eat, maybe a water or a ice coolie pop, and we can go ahead and watch the Croatan Havelock game because either way, whether Croatan or Havelock, it's not that far between the two. So let's make that plan if you're in town. You and I go to that game. What do you think?
I might be down for that.
Okay.
Do you know that coach, Bob? Do you know the guy at Croatan, the Gurley?
Yeah. He was on staff for a long time before he became the head coach.
Man, he's done a good job.
Yep.
Real good job. He was under Dave Perry?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I have good news. That game's at Havelock, and that's the week of Southwest bye week, so I can tag along.
All right, you coming?
I'm coming. Let's do it.
So is that is that at Croatan or is it at Havelock?
It's at Havelock.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Look, we go to Riptides, a little bite to eat.
Bam.
Havelock's another 20, 30 minutes away. That's perfect.
I think Jacksonville has the same bye week too. I think all the county teams have around that same bye week. Maybe it's that conference. I think that's playing.
Well, Jacksonville's bye week is this week.
Oh, that's right.
Not this week.
I think.
Well, no, next
Labor Day.
Week after.
Yeah.
All right, so let's make those plans.
Yeah.
Because I like to go see Croatan play.
Yes.
I think they've got.
I would too, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're busy. You got plans every Friday night.
Well, I have a couple Fridays off. So I'd love to see Croatan. I think they're well coached.
I'm wondering how good East Carteret is.
Well, I was at that game. I didn't know if you. I was at that.
You went to Croatan East
So I went to the Croatan East Carteret game, and What I will say is, Croatan, they haven't lost a step. That Boucher kid is phenomenal, and I think Croatan kind of had it out from the start. So Cannon's the kicker as well, and on the kickoff, he kicks it off, and I guess on the kickoff, one of those East Carteret boys went and just absolutely laid him out when he weren't looking after the play. So he gets up, and if you ever seen The Undertaker before, he goes like this right here, like the throat slit. So as Cannon's running off the sideline, you just see him start hitting like this right here. And from there, I was just like, come on. Like, really? Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Thank you. It's my peanut gallery. Wow. Thanks, Irv.
Love you, Irv.
No, and look, like we joked last week, McBride and Boucher would really help their soccer team.
Yes.
I mean, they both grew up playing soccer. McBride played his freshman, I think, sophomore year, and was one of the leading scorers for the team. So both of us would help the Croatan. They're tremendous athletes.
Yeah.
And I'd really like to go see them play.
Yeah.
So, all right, Swansboro, South Columbus. Played last night in South Columbus. Nice little, at least probably, a 3-hour ride, Bob?
I've been there. I've been there a few times.
Yeah. There's no good way to get there, is there?
Nope.
So, and on a school night. All right, so Beasley had a 10-yard touchdown run with 41 seconds left. It gave Swansboro the lead for good, capping a fourth quarter swing after South Columbus had scored 2 touchdowns in 4 minutes to take it to 18-16. Swansboro trailed 6-0 before Beasley broke off a 78-touchdown run, and Cameron Nilsson added an 18-yard field goal. Anthony Anderson's touchdown gave the Pirates a 16-6 lead, entering the fourth before South Columbus rallied. The win avenged last year's 27-21 loss in what was the series' first ever meeting. Swansboro visits Pamlico this Friday. South Columbus visits West Columbus. All right, Beasley's 78-yard touchdown, and then the game win with 41 seconds left. Is he the engine to Swansboro's offense, or is it going to take more? Anybody want to chime in?
Robert, that's your home.
I've only seen them play once in the past couple of years, and their offense is kind of hodgepodge. They kind of do what they, several different things they like to do, schemes and that type of thing.
So does it depend on the matchup?
I do think it depends on the matchup. There's no team out there one guy's going to be able to do it all.
Right.
But they went to what I consider a pretty hostile environment and came away with a win, and that's big. Plus, that bus drive you can lose a lot of games on that bus drive.
Right.
So kudos to them for staying focused.
And that's why I said when I did the picks last night, I'm thinking, all right, they were really close at Swansboro last year. Yeah. I erred to the side of South Columbus being the home team, thinking that ride would take a little bit out.
Not to be disrespectful to Swansboro,
not at all.
But I never thought I'd see them go to South Columbus, which has tradition.
Right, correct.
And that's a big win for that program. That's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so hopefully that's going to be some momentum with Southwest. Because, look, I met Coach Beasley back in June at my buddy's house in Swansboro. He teaches Swansboro, and Beasley was there, and I got to meet him.
Great
what
guy.
a really neat guy.
Great guy.
I really like him a lot.
Yeah.
I hope they have some success because it's been a struggle at Swansboro over the years, and so hopefully we can get that program turned around and they can go the right direction.
Yeah, I think that's a great start for sure, man.
All right, Dixon and Topsail. Dixon 20. I'm sorry, Topsail 20. Dixon 8.
Man, that shocked me.
Yeah. Well, and look, but here's the problem. We were fed some info last week that, because I was going Topsail, and then I got some info. I'm like, all right, Dixon's will be okay.
Right.
So, so of course Dixon struck first, went up 8-0, and then the rest was Topsail. Now, what do you think changed after that first drive for the Bulldogs? All right, so is that one of those Bulldogs got overconfident, or is
Well,
Any input?
I did say that they needed to play better defense, and they did only give up 20 points. But you still have to outscore them.
Right.
So maybe they're looking, hey, we played better defense, and they did. Because
There's a positive
everything
to take
was
from
a
it.
track meet last
Right.
year, and so that. But offensively, there's a lot of time and a lot of things involved in that single wing that. Replacing the guys they replaced, they may not have it down yet, but
Well, it could be, look, it could be time, and it could be, a lot of little things. Because that offense, it takes some practice to get used to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
well, we got an eyewitness.
Right. So, Preston,
Yes.
you want to give us a lowdown since you were there?
Yeah, I think Dixon's missing JJ a little bit. I think that's the biggest thing for them. But I gotta say, I thought that I picked Topsail to win. So I was one of them that took Topsail because Topsail had played Southwest down at West Brunswick and Battle of the Beach before, and I knew that the quarterback could sling it. But what I wasn't expecting was that running back of theirs.
Golly.
Had 3 touchdowns, just really kind of just put that offense on his back.
Is he a freshman?
Freshman. I believe, I might be wrong, but I think he is the coach's son, Kyle Albert. He rushed for 152 yards and had 3 touchdowns on 23 carries, and really was just it was that opening drive happened, and even after the opening drive, when Dixon scored, they kicked an onside kick and got it. So they had it right back, and it's just Topsail, they just clicked in, and they just completely stopped them right there. And as soon as they got the football back, it was just from there on, it was just them all the way through, and especially that Kyle Albert kid, shout out to him for such a stellar performance, and good for Topsail getting a win against Dixon, as they have Croatan to stare down that I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Well, I'm going to say when you get in that offense, you get behind and the game gets late, you start doing things that you normally wouldn't do.
Right.
Like if you were just down by 1 touchdown or something. So, that can factor into it as well.
Yeah. So, and look, Topsail's a much bigger school than Dixon. So do you think those numbers between the school populations played an impact? No?
They went 0-10 last year. Topsail went 0-10 last year.
And it ain't that
Yeah,
much.
but they're in a tough conference.
Dave, it ain't
That too,
Dixon
but-
when me and you used to be at Southwest, where we're all little 1A, 2A school. Dixon's a big school too.
I'm thinking these, and they're just as big, man.
I know. I'm
They're
just
growing.
trying to put it out there. Because look, back in the day when we first started, Topsail and Dixon was a huge rivalry.
Oh yeah,
man.
huge.
Still is.
Yeah.
Still is
Yeah,
a huge rivalry.
yeah, but
The numbers are,
and
are
the
skewed.
stories. As a matter of fact, Bob, when we start wrapping up, I have a question for Bob Easton. We talked about this for last week's show. We didn't bring it up, so I might bring it up today for Bob and about the Southwest Stallion.
Okay.
You
All right.
remember,
I
where I'm
remember.
going?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So
I do.
we're going to ask that question.
Okay.
You and I were talking about it
Now I'm
leading up to the
interested.
show. Huh?
I said, now I'm interested. What in
Oh,
the
yeah,
world?
it's a good
It's
question.
a good
can't wait.
question. It's a good
All right.
topic.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's what coaches will do to motivate their players. All right, so did we cover all our games?
I think so.
I think we have them all.
All
Yeah.
right. Dang, so I guess we're in the preview for next week.
Yeah, man.
Should we do the question now since it kind of piqued
Yeah,
our
go
interest?
ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so Bob, Warlick and I were talking last weekend before our show, and we were coming up with some things to kind of grill you about. So when I was in high school, my junior year, we played our crosstown rival, which the school was built out of our population from my high school. Our freshman year, our freshman class was so big, we went to school from 12:30 to 5:30 in the afternoon. Sophomore year, over half of our class went to this new high school. So junior year, we get to play them. All right, and we started out, we lost our first 2 games. I think it was the 3rd game of the season. Coach brings us all in before we had to go because we had to travel. We didn't have a home stadium, so we always played our games somewhere else. So we're in the auditorium, and he comes up to us with a shoebox, and he starts preaching us to us. And he's like, hey, getting in, he said, what I wouldn't give to play in tonight's game. I'm like, what do you mean, Coach? What would you give? And I won't say on the air. Well, actually, this isn't regular radio, so I guess I can say it. He said, I would give my left nut to play in this game tonight. He said, you know what's in this box? This is what Western High School thinks of you. He opens it up, and it's a fresh pile of cow manure. All right? So we're all excited. We wax them. Well, as I got older, I started realizing that was all a show. So Bob and I were talking. So, back in the Phil Padgett days at Southwest, we know that a part of the stallion in the courtyard got painted blue. So you can deny or you can confirm. It's totally up to you. Did Phil Padgett have anything to do with that anatomy part getting painted blue?
I would confirm probably that's what he did. A lot of things.
Breaking news.
A lot of times I had to stand in the hallway and not look because I would be in tears laughing or something. Me and Eric Leary would just look at each other like, what's he going to do tonight? He went to bust up a TV one time. Like, he had a bat in his hand, and it was the TV. We watched film on it, and he was acting all mad, and he grabbed that baseball bat that just happened to be laying there, and the TV just happened to be there, and he grabs it, and he goes to hit the TV. Well, the TV's on wheels.
Wait, that old school
TV.
It wasn't a flat screen. It was a tube TV.
Yeah, it was old tube TV. So he hits it, and it starts rolling. And we're like, so he just has to keep chasing it and hitting it. We're all just like,
See that.
he had flowers delivered from Richlands one night, to the bus. Like, here's some, like, in mourning type flowers.
Yeah.
I mean, there was always something. But yeah, he was notorious for the pregame speech.
Yeah, because after they did their investigation, they couldn't find anybody that actually did it. My mind automatically went down. All right, I know what happened.
Right.
And so
It adds
I've
up.
sat on that for a long time, and now I've got confirmation. I appreciate it. 'Cause-
He was, like I said, notorious for his pregame speeches.
all right, so now that you're really not coaching high school anymore, you don't do anything like that to motivate your boys?
I was more the quiet storm kind of guy.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
You, Quiet Storm?
Before the game, I didn't like a bunch of hubbub. I didn't like being a show pony. You know how they have people come out with the smoke and stuff. We won't do none of that. We won't run out no balloons. We won't, I may yell at them and say a few things, but I never busted up a TV or nothing like that. Now, halftime, that could be a different story.
I'll tell you this, and I still talk about it. Our buddy Sean Cutright, I'm still in contact, his defensive coordinator.
Right.
Bob Eason was organically the best motivator I've ever seen. He didn't have to manufacture stuff.
I agree.
It was unbelievable. And Cutright and I still talk about the things he would do, and he motivated guys to be their best.
Usually it would happen in practice or something. Before the game, I didn't want a bunch of wasted energy on a bunch of rah-rah stuff. I want to just play.
Trey, do you believe that?
No, he didn't tell you.
All right, let's go through the Week 2 preview. All right, first one. We'll go White Oak at Richlands.
All right.
White Oak, 0-0. They're 0-0. They didn't play this week because they canceled their game with Northside. Richlands is 1-0 after the win over Southwest. White Oak has won the last 3 meetings, of course, including last year, 34-21, and they lead the all-time series 18-6. Richlands is coming off a huge emotional comeback win over Southwest. White Oak has not stepped on the field yet for an actual game. What are your thoughts?
I think not playing is probably going to hurt White Oak, and I just think Richlands is a little bit better, to be honest.
It's worth noting, too, that game got moved up. That game's the first game out of the area so far to get moved up, so that one's going to be played on Thursday, not Friday. So
That's no preparation.
You look at Richlands, just played on Monday.
So they've already moved it up to Thursday?
Yes, they've already moved it up to Thursday.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you work all day.
But that's crazy. So Richlands has what? They play a game on Monday night, get 2 days of practice, and then right back on the field.
I'd rather do that than wait.
I
tell me,
agree.
play 2 games in a week, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
There's a lot less junk that you got to do. Let's just get on. I mean, hey, we need to prepare. I mean, you're prepared.
Right.
You just need to be healthy.
Yep.
That's all.
Absolutely.
All right, so
I'm gonna call White Oak. I didn't see the game last night, but I listened to it on the radio.
Yeah, it was hard to listen to.
Well,
Not for the guys talking, just following the game.
well, there ain't no Melvin and Billy up there, that's for sure.
You're
But
right.
they did okay.
There was no spotted dog.
But I don't know. I just feel like White Oak's probably hungry. You know, Richlands, it is emotional.
Right.
A short period of time.
Well, and Bob, as a coach, I always hated those games after that big emotional game, whether win or lose, because it's so hard to get the kids refocused, and it's a test.
Yeah.
You know, so for Richlands, getting up for this game is going to be hard because they put so much into Friday's or Monday night's game with Southwest. White Oak hasn't played, so I'm like you. I'd give the edge to White Oak.
Well, but we could look at it like, hey, maybe it'll be a real short memory because they got a real short week.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, type of thing. So, I don't know.
Preston, you got insight?
Yeah, I think just like you said, the short week and the short kind of preparation, even though you don't have that longer extent to kind of, you know, get back, you know, healthy, you know, take some time to cool off. Like, nope, you're kind of just right back at it. So I'd honestly give the edge to Richlands just because they're coming off of a big win. I think that they got the type of group to adapt well to that. And, you know, White Oak, that it's just hard to give them any sort of edge because we haven't seen them yet. We haven't seen what they look like against any sort of competition. And I think we could have been able to tell a whole lot if they would have played Northside, but they didn't play that game. So I can only go off of what I saw with Richlands. So I'm ultimately going to give Richlands the edge, and I think that they pull out another win on Thursday night.
Bob, you got anything to add there?
Yeah, I already did. I think Richlands. I think White Oak not playing and having the first game special teams glitches. I think Richlands wins in a close game.
Okay. All right, next game, we've got North Raleigh Christian at Southwest. Is that correct?
Yes.
For some reason,
Yes.
I read the schedule. It looked like that Southwest was going to North Raleigh.
Ain't there 7 football teams in this county that can play each other? We're going to South Columbus and North Raleigh Christian. What is going on?
I feel you.
It's crazy.
I feel you. I'm very thankful I'm not going to North Raleigh on Friday night. That's for sure.
Actually, the school's pretty easy to get on. It's right off Capitol Boulevard, right off by WRAL soccer fields. It's pretty. It is a nice campus. All right, so yeah, when I looked at the schedule, it was flipped. Southwest. It said Southwest North Raleigh. So it's at Southwest.
Yes.
Okay. So are they still scheduled for Friday? They haven't moved their game
Yep.
yet?
So far, it's still scheduled for
Okay.
Friday night.
All right. So, of course, any insight? I mean, I don't know anything about North Raleigh Christian as a football school. I know they have a decent soccer program. Did anybody have any insight on their football program?
I cheated a little bit and went online, and they won Friday.
Right.
And their JVs last year were 9-0.
Now, I think they played Wake Prep. Is that right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes. Well, I can't help but notice. I'm a quarterback guy, but I can't notice that quarterback stat right there. Quarterback was 8 of 12 for 270 and 4 touchdowns on Friday night, and they're 33 to what was it?
All
I
right.
think
So they're
33
going to sling it, is what you're saying.
Sounds like it.
Okay.
No, they're not. They threw it 12 times. They run the ball and pass it.
But
You know, there's 60
They're
offensive
efficient.
plays. They threw it. They were
There you
very
go.
I mean,
efficient.
See?
Yeah,
Look,
but-
I poked the bear.
and you did, but even then, like
Because
8.
look, I brought up the passing game. I knew. Somebody, one of us 4 isn't crazy about a passing game.
No, that's the perfect passing game.
Right.
Oh,
to
yeah.
throw it 12 times,
Right.
complete 8, and
Right.
score 4 times. I mean, that's perfect.
Oh yeah.
All right, so what do you think? And again, this is a non-common opponent for anybody in this area. Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing to go outside the area? And this is football. I'm not talking other sports because, you know, football, you kind of stay regionalized so you get the matchups and stuff for playoffs. How do you think, what do you think the impact is of Southwest playing a Raleigh school? How's it going to help, hurt? What do you guys think?
I think it's just a game.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, if you need to add a game, it's a game.
Yeah.
But I'm like Bob. There's enough teams in Eastern North
I
Carolina
agree.
that you would think.
Unless you can't get them to play you.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I
You know,
think
so
that
I
was
don't
the
like
key
it,
thing.
but
Right.
I can see, and I give the coach
I've been there,
Garvey.
done that, had to travel all over
Yeah.
to get games.
Right.
You know, when you're good, people don't. But, you know, as a county, we should make a rule.
Right. I agree 100%.
You know,
I agree with
to
that.
play these schools, and it was kind of a rule at one time when the gas prices got real high,
Right.
and you remember they said, okay, we need to schedule each other, and then it kind of went away from that. But you know, people are trying to schedule wins. This new formula system puts them in a thing where, but you know, a county rivalry is still the best thing for football in this area. So
I agree 100%.
Well, think about this too. Kind of, you touched on the new, the kind of new format of how the playoffs all work. This team, this is a academy school. They're part of the NCISAA. They're not even part of the NCHSAA.
Right.
So really, this game doesn't help you at all. Like it is a game. It's competition. It's a school you're unfamiliar with, but like it doesn't help you at all, whether you win or you lost.
Right.
So I mean,
Well, the good thing is it is incorporated RPI, which they use for the playoffs, so it's not going to hurt them for the playoffs.
do they incorporate them even though they're not part of
Yes.
the? Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. I didn't think they
as
would.
long as they're in the the max prep system, it tallies.
Okay.
in.
All right. That makes sense then.
All right, let's go. Bedingfield at Dixon. All right, Friday night. Yes, Bob.
how far, you know where Bedingfield is? I mean,
I do. It's right before you get into Wilson, because
Exactly.
I would pass the sign to take a left
Yeah.
to go to Bedingfield when I was going to
Straight.
Wilson
Yep.
at Gillette Complex playing the Brittany.
Oh yeah,
Girls.
well, I grew up in Greene
Yeah.
County.
Right.
Bedingfield was right down
Yeah.
the road, and we played each other. But
Yep.
I'm you know,
Matter of fact,
guess
Westwood
you gotta play
Golf
who you gotta
Course is
play.
not too far away from Bedingfield High School.
I played there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just, you know, you need games, period.
Right.
And sometimes you have to reach out and find these games. I had to play Mattamuskeet one year because nobody. This is one of the worst coaching decisions ever made, but we needed a game.
Yeah.
And I get going there, but I love people playing local. You know,
Well, that's the reason Bo's only been able to play 9 games in the past 5 or 6 years.
I agree,
because
which is a
you
shame.
can't find anybody to play them week
It's
3.
It's a travesty.
Yeah. All right, so Bedingfield is at Dixon. Both are 0-1 to start the season. All right, so both teams are trying to rebound. Bedingfield lost to North Johnson 40-0. Dixon struggled with Topsail. We know that Dixon's lost a bunch of their players from last year's. Get my notes straight. All right, so do you think Dixon is in danger of going 0-2 to start the season? Or do you think they have a chance against Bedingfield to right the ship and go 1-1?
Bedingfield used to be a good football school years ago.
But it has not been.
But
over
it
the
has
years.
not
Right.
been the last few years. So it's a tough call. They travel to Dixon. You know, you got to pull for the local team. So I'm hoping Dixon wins. And plus, my wife used to be principal there.
I think Dixon wins. I mean, you lose 40. North Johnson's always a pretty good team, but
Right.
smaller, right? And I just think it's honestly, I think for the new coach, Coach Williams, it's a big deal. Like,
Right.
do you right the ship, or are you kind of doubting what's going on? And I think I've only seen him in interviews, and he says all the right things, you know, and he seems like he's real sharp. And I know he played for Coach Durham, and I think they're going to win. I think Dixon's going to win.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on that same boat. I think Dixon's going to end up pulling it out. I think they learned a lot about their team week 1, and they're going to put that all on the field this week. And got to be completely honest, I barely know anything about Bedingfield, but I'm just going off of what I hear. So it sounds like, you know, they've kind of been on a little bit of the struggle bus here recently, and I'll go off of what I see, and I think Dixon's going to find a way to get it right and find a way to win on Friday.
Well, I hope so, because I hope all but one Onslow County school team wins on Friday night.
Wonder
All right,
who.
let's go outside the county. Let's go to East Duplin and Princeton. All right. East Duplin is 1-0. Princeton is 1-0. And I know in the past, Princeton has had a pretty good, solid program over the years. And, they travel well, but East Duplin's got to go there. All right, so can East Duplin's skill position on offense carry East Duplin to a victory?
You know that Princeton runs the single wing.
Yeah.
Okay, and they've got a really, really good running back, kind of the ilk that Dixon had last year. This kid is he's going to carry the load, and he's legit. So, Coach Holly and them got a week to get right. But it's a little easier because they run the wing T.
Right.
And they can adapt to some things, and they see it every week. But, if you're a guy like me, this is going to be an exciting football game.
Yeah, it's low scoring. Low scoring, right?
I don't know, but it's going to be a lot of running and defense.
Well, it could go either way. It could be low
could
or
go
high,
right? Dixon showed you last year, right?
Because if you can't stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, think about Dixon last year. There were a lot of scores they had, 40-something to 30-something, 50-something to 40-something.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I say. I say for East Duplin, just based on the little bit I saw against Wallace, for them to win, it's going to have to be low scoring, and I think their defense is good enough to 14-7 win, 21-14 win. I think East Duplin can win, but it's because they have a great coaching staff and their defense is really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Preston, you got any insight?
I think you hit it exactly. You hit the nail right on the head. That defense is going to have to play well. The Teo McFadder kid for Princeton immediately stuck out for me. Ran for 298 and 4 total touchdowns.
Told you, he's good. He's been good.
And Aiden Grifton, they had a really good season last year. They returned a lot of guys this year, and Princeton beat them 34-9. So
wow,
that
I didn't do my homework there.
That immediately jumps up. That jumps out to me.
Well, you got to count.
So what you're saying is
Coach
Princeton has a chance.
I think they got more than a chance, but it is hard to go up against because I know obviously watching East Duplin for a few years now. Battle Holly does a great job of getting his guys ready for pretty much anybody. So it's a tough game. I'm gonna roll with Princeton just to take it out there and see, but it would not shock me if East Duplin the defense steps up and they put a stop to it.
300 yards.
Yeah.
Wow. No,
I didn't know that. Man. It's tough.
I didn't know that.
If you don't pick up on the ball immediately,
over. It's over.
You're like, oh crap! Where's all of a sudden he's running by you?
It's like the T. Remember that, Bob?
Yeah.
That night that we lost in the playoffs. Gave up a touchdown the first drive. Shut them down from then on. Because you picked up the ball, but we lost 7-3.
Well, it's hard to emulate in practice.
Yeah,
real hard.
Yeah,
so if they get up on you the first quarter, it's like, well, by the time you figured it out, it's like, hey, daggone, they're up. Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know where the ball's going, once they get to that second level, good luck.
Oh, it's
it's like AP
it's a speed
Jacksonville.
contest. Yeah.
If he's able to get that second level, good luck.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So last question. Princeton already is a data point on Beddingfield. The same team Dixon plays the same night. Does that kind of common opponent help or handicap these games?
Say that again now.
All right.
Or summarize it.
Princeton already has a data point on Beddingfield. They play Beddingfield. So does knowing that you played something like Dixon, Dixon's playing Beddingfield that night, does that kind of common opponent help handicap the games? So like Beddingfield playing Dixon, East Duplin playing Princeton.
It's a matter of what your personnel does well against other teams. I think the East Duplin's a really, really strong defensive team from what they've shown. Like you have a Northside or a Jacksonville that's strong offense. I don't think it matters a whole lot. Matchups matter, not really.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Swansboro at Pamlico. All right, Swansboro 1-0. Pamlico 1-0. Pamlico is coached by Brandon Akins, who actually played at Swansboro High School. So it's a little bit of a homecoming. Well, that's not a homecoming because it's at Pamlico, but Swansboro's coming to Akins. So, it's the first meeting between Swansboro and Pamlico. No, it's the first one since. Sorry, I'm reading my notes. Been a little distracted this afternoon with birthday stuff. But anyway, so the first meeting since 2016, and and the Swansboro Pirates won 47-0. Bob, I remember back in the day when Southwest and Pamlico had some heated battles. That's when you and I were sitting in the stands together, hanging out. Remember those days? And I had all my coaches' wives around me, and Alison was on the sidelines, and it was an awful place to play. I mean, it was tough because it's middle of nowhere.
It's dark.
Yeah,
lighting. The lighting was not good.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, granted, here's my question. And I don't know if anybody knows this. Pamlico's got a brand new school.
Oh, they do.
Same
It's very
stadium.
nice. I just rode by.
So are they playing?
Same stadium.
Are they playing at the old stadium or are they playing at a new stadium?
Same place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have improved lights or is it still?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I didn't look at the lights. I did know it's a very nice new school. They're very excited about it. I do know all that. But I don't know if that helps them with football.
So I mean, it's just, and look, Aikens worked with me at Jacksonville, so I'm really pulling for the guy. But at the same time, also pulling for local teams.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on the game? Because, I mean, Pamlico's what, a 2 or 3A school?
Who did Pamlico play first go round?
I just looked. Let me get it back
You know
up
what?
here.
Did they play Kip Pride? I think
Yeah,
it was Kip
that's
Pride.
yep, that's who it was.
I think it was Kip Pride.
They're out of like Halifax area.
Yeah. Roanoke Rapids area?
Yeah.
Gaston.
And I know that Lejeune has played Kip Pride in the past. So
Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're
Right.
horrible.
So anybody's thoughts on how the game may go?
I mean, Swansboro, in theory, should win. They've got the bigger school.
Right.
Probably got more kids playing.
I agree.
But, that doesn't always work out.
Right.
So,
And I just know Aikens is a player's coach. I remember what he did with our wrestling program at Jackson High School. Really turned it around, did a good job with our football team.
he's a good guy.
Yeah. So I'm kind of torn because, like I said, I met Beasley back in June. Really like what he's doing and good guy. So honestly, I hope this game ends up in a tie.
I think Aikens is going to turn it around.
He
at
is.
Pamlico,
I think he's already righted that ship
Right.
a little bit.
but I think Swansboro wins Friday.
Okay.
If
Yep.
they go to South Columbus and win, I mean, it's a tough place to play.
I agree 100%.
I just think
It ain't as far of a drive.
Yeah.
All right, and last one before we didn't do Croatan Topsail already.
I haven't done it.
No, I didn't think so. I was just making sure.
you are having a good birthday.
I am, but my notes. And
I'm
of course,
just picking on you, buddy.
well, and the bad thing is,
It's front and back.
it is.
You're at a disadvantage.
And I've moved my stuff, and so I'm a little out of whack. But Croatan at Topsail. Croatan 1-0, Topsail 1-0. Croatan leads the all-time series 10-9, including last year's 49-7 win.
Usually you look at these two schools and you think, okay, they're even, but not this year. I think Croatan's going to walk the dog on them.
I agree.
I do too. Just in
Yeah.
Bob Easton fashion of being more physical.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
they-
what it's about.
And nothing against Topsail, but, I just think the quarterback is too much for them. And
Well, heck, the running back, Boucher.
Both really good.
Yeah,
And
just tremendous athletes.
to have them at one time at Croatan, that's pretty special. I mean, it's cool, man. It really is.
Very much so.
I
Preston?
can't help but just say that I think I think Topsail's a lot better than what people think there. I'm picking Croatan to win, but just going down there, the game Dixon and Topsail was at Topsail, getting to see that environment. They pack the stands.
Yeah, they do.
The students show out. We kind of mentioned numbers of the school, like they have a lot. The student system is supportive, and it's a great game environment. And Croatan has to travel to play in that, and I don't think they're not. They're used to it. They've seen it before, but I think Topsail's going to give them a fight. They're going to give them a fight, and I think it's going to be a lot. I think they're going to shock some people with how they attack this game, and I'm picking Croatan to win, but I just wouldn't.
they're going to shock this one guy.
You can add me to
I mean,
it, Bob.
yeah. I'm good. Look, I'm all about good football games.
All right, so we're all in agreement. Croatan,
Yes.
the quarterback and running back, run the show.
They play pretty good defense too.
The line of scrimmage, I think they're just better on the line of scrimmage. I think they're physical.
Goody, I think we're ready for our marquee matchup. All right, our marquee matchup is presented by Davis Heating and Air. All right, huge supporter of Man Cave Media and our local athletics. All right, so our marquee matchup this week is Northside at Jacksonville. Northside is 0-0 since their first game with White Oak was canceled. Jacksonville is 1-0. Jacksonville's won 6 straight. The margin peaked at 2024 with a shutout against Northside. Northside's last win of the series came in 2019 with a 40-14 win at Jacksonville. Northside has a ton of kids coming back offensively. Jacksonville is pretty stout on the offense. I'm not sure what Northside's got defensively. I think they've got a good number coming back. Jacksonville's got to replace their linebacking core. What are you guys' thought on the game Friday night? Could be Thursday from what we've been hearing.
I hope it's.
Oh, you want me to go first on this
go
one?
ahead. As the former Northside.
Well, I bleed blue, so I'm pulling for those mighty Monarchs. But not playing that first game is huge. Getting out those kinks and that type of thing. I think you're going to see the best running backs in the area on both teams. Everybody talks about the receivers and the quarterbacks, but I think that Jacksonville's got 2 really good running backs, and Northside has got 2 really good running backs.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to the trenches, and Northside has to play very good defense. They haven't done that in the past. They've given up some long runs by the Pearson kid and everything.
Right.
They've got to play better defense. They can score points, and I think they will. But like I said, it may come down to not having played a game yet, special teams, that type of thing. But, I think it's going to be a really good football game, and I think people in the area will come out and see 2 good quality football teams.
And look, here's the other thing. For those of you that don't know, Friday night before the game, they are going to dedicate the field to Coach Ray Durham. So the field will be now known after Friday night as the Durham-Simpson Field at Cardinal Stadium. It'd be, so it's going to be a good crowd. Hopefully it stays on Friday night. I know weather could be an impact. It could move it up, but I know they're going to name the field. The rivalry is unbelievable. Especially for football, we're less than 3 miles apart from each other, and Bob, and you can answer this, but majority of Northside's offense are juniors, correct? There's a bunch of them that'll be back again next year.
It's probably 60-40 type deal and everything.
Because I think quarterback.
Yep.
The Davis kid out wide is only a junior.
No, he's a senior.
Yeah, Gavin.
Senior.
Gavin's a senior.
5 foot nothing and should catch that. It's unbelievable.
Let me tell you a story about that kid.
Look, Bob, I'm going to tell you what. As a coach, you don't know anything. You watch that kid play.
He's awesome.
You are in love with that kid.
Oh, well, I coached him in 7th and 8th grade.
So just tell me.
His 7th grade year, he had a broken arm. And I'm horrible about kids' names, so I just called him Broke Arm. I didn't know his name until midway of his 8th grade year. I just say Broke Arm, and he was my manager. Awesome kid, didn't miss a practice, worked hard at practice, like he was a player. Comes back his 8th grade year, and he's a dog. He's a dude.
I watched him last year. He's a kid. I don't care what sport it is. You want him on your team.
Yeah,
he's going to make everybody around him better.
And he's a yes sir, no sir kid.
Right.
There's a bunch of them over there. And I think one of the factors in the game too is Northside had a key injury early on before they even played any games with the Monroe kid, Newt and everything getting hurt. And hopefully he's on the mend and will be back maybe to get some PT at the end of the season. But he was a big factor in the game, playing fullback and linebacker. So, pulling for the Mighty Monarchs, got to keep some good defense out there.
And the other thing I like about the game, because it is a rivalry, because the running back, Anderson, his father played at Jacksonville High School. His uncle was a tremendous running back at Jacksonville High School. And so, and just knowing that, it adds a little bit more to the game. And it's fun for me as a guy that's been at Jacksonville and taught some of those kids who were at Jacksonville, then went to Northside, and now their kids are, some are at Jacksonville, some are at Northside, and to see those guys in the games and have that conversation.
And it took a while because when I was at Northside, a lot of the parents weren't old enough to have kids that were playing.
Correct, right.
So now it's kind of come full circle and that and everything.
You've got those kids that are at Northside whose parents went to Jacksonville, and they're friends with, and so, yes, it's a heated rivalry, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun. And I really enjoy these games to go and see some of my former students whose kids are playing on either team, and I'm really looking forward to it. And it's going to be a battle. Kool-Aid does a good job with his kids. I know offensively they're going to cause some trouble. I think Jackson put up numbers, and I hope we get the turnout that I'm expecting for the game, whether it's Thursday or Friday with the weather.
So what's your prediction?
Prediction? Yeah, well,
we know y'all
you know what Bob's doing. Bob's going Northside. Of course, I'm going to go Jacksonville. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be at least in the 30s, both teams, if not the 40s. But I'm going Jacksonville.
Shock us.
This to me is the old Chuck Martin Bowl, who from an academic standpoint wasn't a good idea, but he was a huge proponent of, hey, let's make Jacksonville High School a middle school and let's build a huge high school. And I'm thinking, can you imagine the team that would come out of these two teams right now? I think if I had to bet money, I would bet they're both in the Eastern Finals. I think it's everything good.
I agree, because
everything good.
Northside's 5A, Jacksonville's 6A.
Yeah.
And look, they both did it last year.
I think
so
it happens
there's a
again,
legitimate
man.
shot they're both going to do it again this year.
And I think it comes down to who stops the run. I think the Davis kid's going to get yards. I think he'll have
there's no doubt
80 or 100 yards receiving. He's just that good. And it's who wins the line of scrimmage, like Bob said, and who stops the run. Yeah. I think it's going to be a great high school game for Onslow County. I'll give Jacksonville a slight edge only because I'm
biased.
Well, I'm a little biased, but it wouldn't surprise
They're going
me.
to name in the field after Ray Durham. What motivation is that? I mean, and by the way, well deserved. Coach Durham,
agree.
awesome guy, awesome guy.
Preston,
Man.
you got any input?
I'm so torn now. I walked in here and I was taking Northside. One hands down, I was taking Northside. But this is on me not doing my homework. I didn't realize Anoop got hurt until he said something about Anoop getting hurt just then. I mean, Anoop's not just some defensive guy. He was their leading tackler. He got 170 tackles last year for Northside. Like, he was coming back senior, and like he was like one of the main reasons that I was so confident that Northside would win. And I'm staying with Northside just because I think that they just the overall talent, and Jacksonville,
right? That's awesome. Split evenly.
Yes.
Well, and here's the deal. You're hoping for a good football game, no injuries, no incidents of any kind. A lot of these kids did go to middle school together, whether it was Newbridge, the Commons, or Northwoods Park. They've competed against each other many times. They know each other, and it should be a lot of fun. It's the games you love to coach in. I know Bo and them are excited. Kendrick and them are excited. So it's just going to be a good game.
But Bob, it's one of those games you hate being early in the year. You know what I mean? You'd rather see it later in the year.
Yeah.
Because it'd be a huge playoff tune-up. Getting ready for the playoffs, because it's going to be a playoff caliber game.
Oh yeah,
right,
for sure.
I mean, and look, I think everybody and their grandmother is going to be there. It's going to be a great crowd.
If the weather,
so if you're going, you better get there early, because parking's minimal on Jackson High School campus.
I think it's super cool. And Bob, you were in a ton of these games, ton of them, and Phil, and it's great for Bo and great for Kendrick. But pressure and having this kind of attention and pressure, it's the ultimate compliment that you're doing everything right.
You want to play in meaningful football games.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's key. And it wasn't meaningful there for a couple of years.
Correct.
Northside was on down low. And on a side note, if I gave up 40 points, I'd cry when I got home. Just throwing it out there.
But speaking on that, just
But look, Bob, looking at both teams, it seriously could be 40-something to 40-something, 40-something to 38. I mean, it could be a high-scoring game.
Yeah, a lot of offense out there. And like I said, I know Jacksonville's got quality receivers, and Bo does a great job of managing his offense.
Right.
He's been married to it since he got there.
Yes.
He runs it well, and if he's got a good quarterback and receivers, he'll pass it more. If he doesn't, he runs it more. I mean, he knows what he's doing.
Well, that's the great thing, Bob. He's got two quarterbacks that can do a little bit of both.
But they can't play with one at a time.
You are right.
True that.
You are right.
That's like Topsail having a good student section. Ain't one of them scored yet.
That's true. This is true.
But I think it's gonna be a good game. I'm super excited. Northside's back to the point where they're very competitive, and it makes football better in the area.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%.
Think about that for a minute, and not to just totally turn attention to Kendrick, but 2 years ago, it was like in the 60s.
Oh, yeah.
And that wasn't a good football team.
No.
And it's a real good football team now. So I like Kendrick a lot,
they're
and I think he's
doing the weight room. They're back to doing things, and their coach staff has grown. They were young there for a while, and they've grown, and they're doing a good job.
And just real quick, I'll add this in at the end. To me, for Northside, I look at this as a must-win for Northside. Jacksonville, they're going to be good. They've established themselves. We know what Jacksonville's capable of. And Northside, they're going to be a good program too this year, but you had the year last year that you had and everything. But you don't want last year to just be a flash in the pan. You don't want that to just stick out as that one successful year. You want this team needs to make their real stamp. And if they didn't play week 1. Their game got canceled. If they can start out this year with a win against Jacksonville at Jacksonville, man, it would be huge for the program and the entire future of it. Like this is how big this team is, and that's why it matters so much to have when these in-county teams and these programs, to have them to be as successful as they are. That's why it's so good to have these games and everything.
I wish we could find a way where we get all the schools to play each other, because but on to that, just think of the money for the schools, the revenue at the gate.
Yeah.
Because I go back in the days when, and I understand why Southwest and Jacksonville don't play, because it's not a competitive match. But that gate, because both schools split the gate.
Yep.
Whoever was hosting, somebody got a piece of the gate. It sets your season up.
Yeah.
I mean, and what most people don't realize is your football gate supports majority of your other athletic programs.
Yes.
That's the reason that it's hard to think that White Oak and
Northside didn't play.
That was their home game, and I was like,
well, and look, here's the other thing too is we know people paid, but people are going to demand refunds. Well, if you give all the refunds, you've got nothing left. You're in a hole starting the season, because Northside, White Oak is a big rivalry because part of White Oak built Northside.
Yeah.
That's just like Northside, Jacksonville. Those are two games that should never go away.
And I don't think they will.
Right.
Well, the first year we were at Northside, we didn't play Jacksonville or White Oak, but as soon as I could get them on the schedule, I did, and we started out. I got White Oak on, and then the next year Jacksonville, and that was it.
Right.
Are you ready? It doesn't matter if you're ready.
But
you need the money. You need to.
For your athletic
you need to get
programs,
ready.
Those are the games you need.
I mean, and then we got good, and nobody would play us, and so we ended up playing New Bern and New Hanover, and they're winning state championships. And you call these schools, and okay, we're doing a conference realignment. Well, hey, we used to be in a conference together. You want to play us? And they're like, no, I'm going to travel to wherever to play. And I'm like, what? Really?
North Raleigh Christian. Right.
Yeah, but you start losing. Oh,
they're lining up.
Yeah, everybody wants to play.
Now, here's one thing I respected about Phil Padgett, and I'll tell you this. If you wouldn't play him in football, he wouldn't play you in nothing else.
Yep. Oh, I know.
I think Bo's got a little of that in him, too, to the extent.
You can't be just cherry picking the sports to beat people in.
Right.
Yep.
So I would hope that the 17th county would all play each other.
That would be an awesome conference, as far as generating revenue. I'm not sure they're all on par, but honestly, Northside and Jacksonville are better.
Well,
in their
Southwest
own
is the only
conferences
school
now.
that's small.
Right.
You know, they are not
Everybody else
there,
could be together.
Yeah,
Yep.
everybody else could.
So maybe one of these days the state will get it right.
Well, yeah, Northside and Jacksonville were going by White Oak to play teams, and,
Right.
and then all of a sudden now White Oak's in that too.
Right. Well, think about it.
Swansboro could have been.
Right. It should have been. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No comment. All right. Everybody good?
Everybody
so.
good.
All right. Well, look. Keep your fingers crossed. Weather cooperates for this weekend. We get to see some quality football games, and then we can wrap it all up again next Monday night here at Bubba's 33.
There we go.
All right.
Happy birthday,
Happy
bud.
birthday.
Guys, everybody have a good week.
You too, buddy. Thank you.